Ever since San Francisco lost DJ Jones to the Broncos, they've been looking for his replacement, and I think they just found it in CJ West, the 4th round rookie selection out of Indiana. Not only does he offer similar build, coming in at 6'1", weighing right around 320 pounds, he's also a similar athlete, receiving a relative athleticism score of 9.15 out of 10, which takes into account measurements like your height, weight, and combine numbers like 40-yard dash. And while on paper, West did look like the next DJ Jones for San Francisco's defense, to start his career, he kinda struggled to make a consistent impact, but that all changed against the Cardinals as everything seemed to click for him. So in this video, we're going to go over his most recent game to see what he did well, why he broke out, and if this is sustainable long term. Initially, to start out, the first thing that really jumps out on West's film to me is just how powerful of a player he is, which is a big reason why San Francisco drafted him in my opinion. At his pro day, for instance, he put up the bench press 28 times, which would have been the second most of any defensive tackle at the combine. And it's not that West just tests well, but he also understands how to use this power in the game. Here with this running play going opposite of West's direction, for instance, he does a phenomenal job of staying low throughout this rep to not be driven down the field, and then works his way across his center's face using a club into a rip move, and then continues to drive his feet, which is too much for the center to handle. And right here, he eats up the potential lane this back would have had, causing him to bounce it outside. And this is really on this play why this back loses 5 yards. So even though West didn't register a single stat, without him, this back could have potentially hit that lane we saw earlier in this rep and probably would have at least picked up 1 yard on San Francisco's defense. But because West is out here playing bully ball, he can't even find his way past the line of scrimmage and loses 5. Another thing West's power and size allows him to do is shed double teams. To really illustrate this point, here on this play, the Cardinals are attempting to double team West up to the second level, but initially he's not driven back at all, and then he continues his dominance on this rep by using almost a judo throw on this offensive lineman to work his way into the backfield, causing this back once again to cut it opposite of West's direction and ultimately only pick up a couple here. To further highlight West's ability to absolutely demolish these double teams, here on this counter, the Cardinals once again are attempting to double team West to this backside defensive end, but once again, they're not getting any drive on him, and he's driving them into the backfield and recognizes his back working his way across his face on this counter. So West works that direction, but recognizing this cutback, he uses a throw to get just enough of this back to slow him down and help bring him down with Mustafa on this play. Outside of West's power, as I was alluding to start this video, he's a phenomenal athlete, which is a perfect fit for Chris Kaceric's wide 9 defensive front. To start to illustrate this point, here on this run going opposite of West's direction, he does a phenomenal job of penetrating into the backfield with an extremely quick first step, and then uses a hand swipe on this guard to disengage from him, but doesn't even stop there, as he's able to show off his insane lateral quickness to chase down a back much smaller than him and helps bring him down for only a 1 yard gain here. In addition to being extremely athletic, West uses his athleticism in a smart way. Here on this outside run, for example, West is able to recognize his center and guard pulling, so he knows he shouldn't just be penetrating directly into the backfield, as most likely this is a run to the outside. He then is able to confirm it, sheds this guard's block, and then almost like a linebacker, he's scraping with this back on this play, and then chases down this back despite being 320 pounds. I really don't know many big guys that can move like West. The final aspect of CJ West's run defense I did want to talk about before moving on to his pass rush is just how hard he works every single play. You're never going to see him giving up, and that's why he's able to make plays like this, where he's able to work his way across the line of scrimmage. In a similar way in his pass rush, you'll rarely see West just flat up give up on a play. He's always trying to work his way towards the ball carrier. Initially, to highlight this point, here West does a pretty nice job of collapsing this pocket with the bull rush, once again showcasing his power, which gets Brissett to check down to his back. West is able to identify this though, and once again, He's flowing towards his back and stops him for a 1-yard loss and absolutely demolishes him on this play. I love the way he's setting the tone right here. West has also done a nice job of continuing to develop his pass rush moves. To really illustrate this point, here going against the Cardinals on this play, he's going to be using a hump move into his swim move, and it's extremely effective. He's getting this guard's momentum going one direction, and then once he starts to commit there, he uses his strength to further push him that direction, then comes back through on his swim into a rip move, which puts the pressure on Jacoby Brissett, forcing this ball out almost immediately on this play. Another way West has continued to develop his pass rush moves is by linking his feet and upper half together. To really illustrate this point, here initially going against his center, he sets him up almost with a stutter move to the inside, and this commitment by this center allows West to exploit him with his athleticism, coming through on his swim move, and once again, almost gets the pressure on Jacoby Brissett here. It's also worth noting, West has continued to develop his extremely fast and violent hands he possessed at Indiana University. Initially, to highlight this point, here on this play, you can see how violently West comes at this guard with the double hand swipe, and while he just works his way right into another block here, it does showcase just how fast his hands can be. In a similar way on this play, while West isn't getting to Jacoby Brissett, he's attacking this guard extremely violently with his hands, which I think often will wear on the guard as the game goes, and you could really see this during his time at Indiana, who would beat up the guard early in the first, second quarter, and then by the time the third and fourth quarter came, he was really just continuing to penetrate into the backfield on the center and guards. The final aspect of CJ West's pass rush I wanted to touch on is how he started to develop a true pass rush plan. This isn't every single rep, but sometimes you can see he has a true understanding of how he wants to attack a guard. To really highlight this point, here on this play, he uses a stutter step to get this guard to hesitate, and this allows him to work his way into a bull rush, and then once he gets a full bull rush going, this guard tries to extend his arms, West then transitions to a hand chop, and then ultimately helps put the pressure on Jacoby Brissett here. I also like how West throws his arm into the quarterback's throwing lane when he's not able to actually put the pressure on him like here. But this isn't to say West is a complete player, as he needs to continue to work on his pass rush plan. While I do think he has had some solid ones throughout this Cardinals game, there were also some reps where he was successful in this first move, but then didn't understand how to successfully transition into another move. This is really where development in his pass rush plan will help him long term. On top of that, because West isn't the longest player, if an offensive lineman is able to get inside his chest, he can struggle to disengage. And just like a ton of rookies selected in the 4th round, he has a ton of room for improvement in his technique, whether that be his hand placement in his pass rush or his footwork. Finally, it's worth noting he has dealt with injuries already during his NFL career, so he needs to prove he can remain healthy long term for San Francisco, especially because they just keep losing players at their defensive line position. But even with these concerns, I think he has the potential to be the next DJ Jones in San Francisco's defense. He's that dominant. But now I want to hear your thoughts about CJ West as a player, as well as his breakout game against the Cardinals, and if you think this is sustainable long term. It would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video, if you could go ahead and like and subscribe. It truly helps out the channel a ton. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.